I hate to break up our fun and our funny haha, but I know that since you and I sat down, man, I hate this expression, but we've all heard it that deaths come in threes. And unfortunately, we lost three members of our little wrestling community: Mr. Kevin Sullivan, Mr. Dennis Brent, and AFA, the Wild Samoan. I know that you were perhaps closest with Dennis Brent.
Yeah,
Maybe some of our younger listeners aren't familiar with the name. Can you catch everybody up about the impact that Dennis Brent had on wrestling and certainly your life?
there's old Dennis. Dennis could grow a mustache in about 30 minutes. Uh, Good guy. His wife, Lynn, Dr. Lynn Brandt. I hired a person with a doctorate, but I hired both of them. And Dennis was doing some magazine work, compiling, laying out all that stuff. Uh, some stuff for Fritz, Von Erich, and Cowboy. And that's how I got to know Dennis, through Cowboy, basically. And I think Cowboy kind of shoved Dennis over to my side of the room, and it was good. I made a lifelong friend, so it was a good transition. Uh, but Dennis was really smart. Only issue Dennis had, he was a Texas graduate, but he didn't say much about that at my insistence. You're gonna make me vomit. Uh, but he's a great guy, and he had I think he actually died of a brain tumor. So, but boy, disease will just eat you alive, man. He had multiple. I think he had, was it multiple sclerosis or multiple
Yeah, he had MS. That's right.
MS. Yeah. So he was a good dude, man. And I don't. I He reminded me a little bit of the Fink,
Hmm.
Howard Finkel, in as much as that I've never met anybody that was a non-wrestler that was as big a fan of the business as Dennis was. And like I said, it reminded me of Howard. Couldn't get enough of it. Couldn't get enough. Couldn't talk enough about it. Couldn't write enough about it. He just was a good dude in that respect. So, yeah, Dennis passed, and he was a little older than me, but he that you think about your mortality when your friends start dying. But Dennis is a good dude, and he'll be missed. He had several friends in the business. I think Terry Taylor and he were real good buddies.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that speaks to his character or not, but no, I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke, Bull. That's where you put the laugh track in. Ha ha. So uh, Kevin Sullivan was one of the most unique minds that I ever encountered in wrestling as a booking person, a booker. Uh, Really good, really good. You don't have to like all of his ideas, but he was organized. He tried to do something different. The process that he always engaged in was spot on. Did he use the right color blue when he was painting? I don't know. It depends on what color blue you like. And he was just a good guy, good creative guy. I remember one of my favorite stories about Kevin Sullivan. We had a big event in Baltimore in the Crockett days, and Gary Jester, one of the great promoters in our business, uh, promoted the event because that was his town. So everybody was really drinking, and the Nates was there, uncensored. Need not go any farther in this story. There's a penis involved in this somewhere along the way, and Sully Lee Flair of course, comes out with his robe on and nothing else. His his calf length socks, high dollar shoes, and an erection under his robe. Of course, we got to be civil, and so Sullivan's going to top that. Sully goes to the men's room. He's got a robe. He puts his robe on. He finds because it was somebody's birthday that night. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Chester's wife. But anyway, he found a available uh, birthday candle, and he put the birthday candle into his foreskin so it would hold it in place. Uh, And I can't relate to that, Conrad. I don't know about you, but I can't relate to that foreskin thing because mine got taken from me as a child. So Kevin goes to the bathroom, comes out. He's got the candle lit and captured into his foreskin. That's our visual. Yeah, that's it. It's a true story. And everybody was so drunk that nobody protested. Nobody doth protested too loudly. So, but that was the old days when there was no HR and all that stuff. We just freewheeling and outlaws. But Sully was good. And he was good about explaining things. You know, for an announcer, I don't need to know every single step along your journey. But what helps me if I know what emotions you're looking to elicit during the broadcast. What points are imperative to make? Now, generally, I figure that out before we start, but you always like to pick the brain of the guy that's putting it down on paper. And Sully was really good at explaining what he wanted. He was professional, and he wasn't rude. He was a good dude. What was his illness? Did you know?
Yeah, I don't think I should probably discuss all that, but
Okay.
he's no longer with us, and unfortunately, neither is Alpha. Man, I just hate that these things happen in threes. You know, his Alpha's reputation in wrestling has seemingly grown with the success of the Bloodline angle. But when you
Yeah.
take a look at his work, not just in the ring, because that's really what's talked about a lot these days, but as a trainer, my goodness, it's a who's who that Alpha had a hand in helping become megastars in the pro wrestling business, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He had a lot of influence on a lot of successful people. You know, to me, that's always been kind of a sore spot with me because not him, but the fact that people talk about, well, I signed that guy, and I signed some of us that signed more than others, but you really judge those signings by the success of the guys you signed. You know, like I've said before, Connie, I always wanted to have uh, a uh, a roster of guys that wanted to be great and didn't want to settle for anything but a main event at WrestleMania and that accompanying payoff. That's that's where you find that's where the rubber meets the road. How well you do in your post signing life, and we were lucky in that regard. Some of those guys I signed, they're still making money. Isn't it amazing? The wrestling business is so resilient. They're still making money, Connie.
Yeah.
I saw a thing where Sting is going to be making a great appearance at the Cauliflower Alley Club. I'd love to go to the Cauliflower Alley Club. It's one of my favorite events. It's a great organization, but I'll be on an airplane,
Right.
and it upsets people that I can't. I didn't commit to it, but really like to have gone. And I think maybe one of these days, sooner than later, I'll be able to do things like that a little bit more freely. And I'm looking forward to those days because I enjoy those events. I enjoy meeting the fans, the longtime fans. Always got great stories and swag. You know, they show me pictures of me doing something that I had never seen before, type thing. I like that. I don't know if it's an ego-driven deal, Connie, but it's just part of the journey. It goes along with what I've been doing for 50 years. So anyway, Sully was he had a unique mind. He was well read. He was smart. He loved the Red Sox. My God, did he love the Red Sox? And he did well there. Now you mentioned Alpha. God bless his soul. I first met the Samoans in Mid South Wrestling. Cowboy brought them in, and I actually went to the airport and picked them up. It was, and I don't know what happened. Somebody got into a row, a hayrube, and in the airport. I think somebody was making fun of their attire, and that didn't go down well. And so they, I was outside in the car waiting. You could do that then, and here comes this guy running out of the airport, Tulsa, with this look of sheer fear on his face. And behind him, a few steps, were AFA and Sika. And I remember somehow or another, I always thought it was the guy, not AFA and Sika, but it could have been. But the cops found a joint, a significantly sized joint. And I always said it was the other guys. But they were professional, and they didn't talk or act like they looked. I've always found this to be fascinating about pro wrestling.